Not. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another session with our guest, Sheri Roberts Greimes, here with us today. And I want to thank you for joining us. And if you're tuning in later, you're certainly welcome to view this and share it as many times as you'd like. So I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Luscious Moss Studio. Chad Quist specializes in drum and guitar recordings, and he definitely captures room ambiance, and he creates a collaborative environment in his studio so that he feels comfortable. All the natural creative thoughts come, and with that, we're going to turn to Sheri. So, Sheri, welcome to our program. I'm glad you're here with us today. And the first question I have for you is, how did you get into music? What was your earliest memories and inspirations? I know that you're a keyboard player. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
My mom bought a piano, and I ended up being the one to play it. And I started playing when I was 3.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. My older brother and sisters wouldn't let me play with them, so I didn't have anything else to do except play the piano. So, yeah.
Well,
my mom would iron, and I would play the piano. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. So many of the players that I've had on here started at a tremendously early age and just continued with that instrument throughout, picking a few along the way. Where me, I struggle every day. So, can you tell me a little bit about what happened to you between 3 and high school as far as your music? Did you form a band? Did you perform in your school or your church?
Well, I played, and I've entered like talent shows and do community shows. I lived in Eastern Washington at the time.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved over to Kashmir, Washington.
Oh, yeah, I love that town. Yeah.
I love the applets and cotlets.
Yes.
Anyway, and then, I'd play for the school choir and sing and everything. And we moved over here, and I started playing a piano bar when I was 15.
Yeah, I read that on your bio. How did they let you in there? Were your parents?
My mom was there. She was there the whole time. And then when I wasn't playing, I either had to go into the restaurant or I had to go into the bathroom. So, yeah.
Jeez. You got paid though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To give you your spending money for sure.
Yeah.
So after the 15 bar gigs, where'd you go from there?
Still entered talent shows. My mom would enter me and sponsor me. I guess I was her she lived vicariously through me. And it was exciting for her to go to the talent shows. She entered me one, and I ended up in Memphis for national finals. I can't remember. Wow. I can't even remember the name of the company, but and then local talent shows, and playing in the parks, and doing that stuff. I didn't join a band until I was 20 years old. So I was, I'd play parties and stuff like that, Christmas parties and stuff like that. But,
right.
I never joined a band until I was 20 years old.
So you didn't start getting really corrupted until then, right?
Well, it made me realize playing with other people how much or how little I really knew. Yeah, so and I had to learn to play with other people. So
exactly. Yeah. What was the name of your first band?
I can't remember. I have a picture, but I can't remember the name of the band. Night Hawk, or it was, it was weird. I'm still in touch, and I'm still friends with the lead singer, Dana Karen. So, yeah, that's weird.
during this time that you were playing with this band, were you living in Washington or were you?
I was living in Everett. I stayed pretty close to home. Yeah, and then I got married, and then I quit singing for a while, and just a married woman, and then my marriage went bad, so I went back to singing in bars, and
Making a living.
There we go. And
right.
I joined quite a few bands. Then I was in Borderline, which was we were like a house band for the Everett Eagles and Burlington Eagles and stuff like that. And then I got stolen by another band called PF Flyer, and we played a lot of places with PF Flyer. And I'm just trying to think of where I went from there.
What kind of music were you playing in the clubs? I don't know what period of time there was, but what kind of music were?
Hits from, we played anything from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Wow. So
that's quite.
We played everything. We played rock, we played country, we played blues, whatever they would dance to. So yeah. Okay. PF Flyer was probably the best band I've ever been in for 3-part harmony, sometimes 4-part harmony. And it was just a awesome band. I mean, I still have tapes and CDs that I listen to. So going back to when I was 15, my grandma paid for my first single to be recorded when I was 15, 16. And it's called Later On. And I recorded that. So that was my first professional recording. Wow. And then, anyway.
Was that a song you wrote, or was that a song that you covered?
Yeah. Later On. And the other song was on the B side was a song called Dirty Sally. And yeah.
Dirty Sally?
Yeah. It was a song about a girl of the night, and it was funny.
So I understand that that at some point in time you went to Nashville, and sang in the Birdcage Saloon or whatever it's called, and several other places known for artists.
I entered the Wrangler Country Showdown quite a few times, and I finally won the local level, and I got to go to the state level, which was at the Yakima State Fair, Yakima Fair over there in Yakima somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I won there, and that entitled me to go to Nashville and sing in the Grand Ole Opry, in the national finals, the Wrangler Country Showdown. And I mean, I was shocked. I came in second. I was like, oh my God. And I was sitting there clapping, and they said my name, and everybody's like, Sheri, you won. I was like, what?
Exciting moment.
Yeah. I won a band, and I won $25,000. And
wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of money back then.
So how this is after you were in a band, or what period of time is this happening?
This is right after I got divorced, and
that money came in handy, right?
It did, because I was driving a Vega hatchback that was on its last leg. And then I wasn't playing with the band then. I was doing piano bars again, and I decided, I recorded a what would you call it? A demo tape.
Yeah.
And did the headshots and all that. And I went down and spent 3 weeks in Nashville, and I met so many people, and they were like, come back. So I moved down here. And so I packed it up and drove my furniture across the country. So.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And you lived in Nashville for how long?
I lived in Nashville. I moved down there in 86, and I moved back home in 93.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, 10 million people down there are just as talented, if not more, than you. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a guest on here, not to interrupt you, but I had a guest on here called Chris Jones, and he was telling me that in Nashville, you're just kind of a number as far as talent goes because there is everywhere, correct?
Yeah, and you don't make any money singing in bars down there,
Oh, no, they
unless you're
don't.
part of the elite, the elite Nashville players.
Oh, no, explain elite.
Uh, the people that play the Grand Ole Opry and stuff.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, and they had, these special lounges and clubs that they had, like the Nashville Palace. But I was really big into writers' nights, and that's when I got into songwriting with a bunch of people. And I had a temporary, what would you call it? I had I had a writer's deal, and anyway, I didn't meet the quota of songs, and I wasn't their caliber, and anyway, but I still got to play places like the Bluebird Cafe and Douglas Corner and all those places. So
No, it's not the bird cage. It's a bluebird. Oh, good grief.
yeah, I love playing there, and I do writers in the rounds, showcases, and yeah. But the only way I could make money with music was to go on the road and do, fair circuits, and they had this one thing we did. It was called the Cattlemen's Association, and all these rich farmers, beef farmers, and you'd go from town to town, and they'd have their quarterly meetings, and you'd sing, and they give you an 8-pound steak and lots of money and send you on your merry way. And so we'd go out for, a week or two and come back. And I had a real job. I used to manage video stores. And at one time I was a roller skating cocktail waitress. That was fun.
Oh, my God.
I worked at Shoney's, which is, the Denny's of the South, I guess you would say. But I miss their breakfast bar and all that stuff. But yeah. And then I ended up having my son, and I tried to live down there, and it was just too hard not having family to help me. So I moved back home.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. I know there's another lady. You're the second woman that I've had on this show. Yeah, mostly men out there, but not that many women that I'm finding. But she was talking about writer rounds, and I think she was just in Nashville. She got back just today or yesterday. And so, can you explain to me what a writer's round is?
I'm sorry, what is?
Writer's round?
Writers in the round is you have, some places literally you had 4, maybe 5 songwriters sit in a circle, and you'd go from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, and they'd sing songs. I used to host one up here at Cap's Restaurant, and that's how I met a lot of songwriters up here. But it's just sharing. One person would do a song, excuse me, next person would do a song, and they were really, really popular down in Nashville. And
are they still? Do you know?
They have them all the time. Yeah, yeah. If I went back to Nashville, that's the first thing I'd do is try to get into the Bluebird again. So you go, you're who? Who are you?
So you introduce your song through these rounds. Is that the point, or
yeah?
There's really no collaborative songwriting of any kind. Just
no, they don't break it down. It's just a bunch of writers. I looked at it as who writes the best song. Who has the best audience response. I mean, it's very competitive. But one time I was at the Bluebird, couldn't find a babysitter, so I brought my son with me, and he sat in his car seat right next to me on the ground while I was playing. And one writer, she had an issue with it. She's like, well, I wish you wouldn't have brought your baby. And I was like, I couldn't find a babysitter. So the last thing I said at the end of the night is I want to thank my son Harley for being such a good baby. And the audience just laughed and clapped. And oh,
So there's an audience. So
yeah,
you sit in a circle, and there's an audience listening to you guys.
They circle around you. They're seated all around you, and it's just, yeah, it's that is a songwriter's mecca down there.
Yeah.
And the people that are in the industry, and even the people that are not in the industry, they really respect and appreciate songwriters, because that's one of the livelihoods of Nashville is songwriters,
Really? That's interesting. I didn't realize that was what they were catering to, because so few people that write songs are actually going to Nashville, and you're hearing about them. It seems to me that I could be totally wrong, but my impression of Nashville, it's run by producers who want singers to do certain things, and they have their fingers in the creativity pie. Is that correct, or would you dispel that?
Okay, say that one more time.
That the producers more or less are the gatekeepers that decide whose songs are going to get heard, and what songwriter is going to get through all the hurdles that it takes to become, I want to say star, but that's such a silly term.
Well, it's true. It's true. You had to have the full package if you came knocking on their door.
What's a full package?
You had to have the look, the first album recorded, and the following, and the appeal, and the tour, and you had to have your time on the road. And they wouldn't just, it wasn't, you were playing in some dinky restaurant and someone discovered you. That was very, very, very rare. I kept hoping it would happen, but it never happened. So it never happened. Oh, well.
I'm pretty sure it had never happened to me either, because it seems to me they're taking these kids around 12, 13, 14 years old. Yeah. And if you're 21, you kind of missed the ship there.
It was mostly the way to get in to see a producer. You had to have representation, and you couldn't just walk into their publishing houses or their recording studios or their management offices. Music Row is literally these streets of old houses that these people have converted into businesses. And you would see hundreds of people every day going up and down the street. And they would walk in and drop off a tape. That was how, CDs weren't invented when I was down there. Yeah. Now it would probably be CDs or, memory sticks. Anyway, and they just have a big box next to the receptionist's desk and just throw them right in there. So the only way you could really, really get heard is to get in to actually have an appointment, and legal counsel. Your lawyers were the best way to open the doors for you.
Wow. So in other words, you had to have money, which most writers don't have.
No. And then the thing too is you could get noticed if you were a prolific writer, for Mary Chapin Carpenter. She was really prolific writer. Kathy Mattea, Patty Loveless. Or if you were a session singer.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like Trisha Yearwood, wasn't she? Yeah.
Because there's people that send their tapes to Nashville and they want them professionally produced so that they can pitch them, because the producers wouldn't listen to a recording of a guy singing with a guitar.
Yeah.
It has to be, full on production in order for them to get an idea of, what the appeal is. And it basically, it's the producers that decide what's popular in the music. So, yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
I think it's changing. The more I see, and I've been following a lady who appeared on my show here called Jessica Linwitty, and she's a country singer. Sure, her background is in Denmark, but her dad lived in the United States, so she speaks English fluently and has no accent whatsoever. But she started listening to country music, and it just hit her. This is what I want to do. And of course, country is not popular in Denmark. And so she started out in Tacoma, well, Seattle, but eventually moved to Tacoma in 2010. And she was in the fair gigs, and she's got a really hot band that gets her noticed, and she's won awards, etc. And she's really going to town. And what she did was stream. Stream is a way to reach people without having to go through producers.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's changing because I think a lot of artists just got fed up with the gatekeeping. There's a young man in this area. I don't know if you've heard anything. His name is Robert Henry. It's a Robert Henry band. He's from I believe it's Portland, Oregon. He's from Oregon. And he sings a combination of new country and old country with a background in rock. And this guy wrote a protest song about the gatekeepers, and it's a great song. Sometimes if you get a chance to go on YouTube, just put it in there, and you'll hear him. He's very talented man. I don't know. I like his music because it's old and it's new, and it's an interesting combination of them both. So when you were out there in Nashville, obviously nobody said, "Here's $1 million record deal," right?
Yeah, I wish. No, I was working 2 jobs, and I was trying to support my son.
Yeah.
I worked at Baptist Emergency Pavilion, and I worked at Ticketmaster, the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. And then I, do songwriters at night. So, and you don't make any money doing that. You were lucky if you got a free drink.
So did you gig then? Were you gigging at that time?
I'm sorry?
Were you gigging? Were you doing local gigs?
After my son was born, no, I couldn't go out on the road. No. And, it was, it was just really hard. You couldn't go too far away from 2 jobs, and that's why I decided to move home. I had to, call it in because I couldn't do it all by myself. So
yeah.
So then I moved home, and I decided to go to college, and I got a medical degree.
I saw that. You got a degree in what?
Medical assisting and phlebotomy, and then I became a teacher. I taught at Everett Community College for a few years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Lake Washington, Votech, and Cascade.
Wow.
Technical College, and what was the other one? Seattle Central.
Wow.
Yeah, so, yeah. And then I was a medical assistant afloat, and then I went and worked in a nonprofit organization called Citrine Health. It was a organization that gives free mammograms and pap smears to women over 40 that don't have insurance. Great cause. Yeah. It's a government program.
Where's this out of? What
it's out of Washington State, and they actually have it nationwide, and it's called Citrine, Citrine. So if you know women that are over 40 or have a high deductible in their insurance and they can't afford it,
right?
Yeah, give them a call and they'll hook you up. And now they're doing colonoscopies, colon screenings. So I know.
And when you moved here and you were teaching in these colleges, may I ask why you're not still doing that? Or
well, because I got sick. I got pneumonia and I got septic poisoning in my lungs, and I couldn't sing for 3 years. I couldn't even walk out to my mailbox. I'm very limited as far as my physical abilities, and I'm still on oxygen 24/7. So, it's, yeah.
Well, being on oxygen, how in the world do do you breathe? I mean, it takes a lot of diaphragm and it takes a lot of breathing apparatus to be able to sing. So,
It's the
especially the,
best exercise for my lungs. It's the best exercise. Yeah. When I started singing, I felt sorry for myself because I got sick and I was bound and determined to, try and get back to 100%. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
and it started out, I'd try and get through one song, and then I could get through 2 or 3 songs. And then I started playing with local bands.
on jams, or actually just out there filling in, or actually were
I joined a band with a friend, my old guitarist from PF Flyer, Larry Baldwin, and he introduced me to Susie Chrysler, who is a whirlwind of talent and wild woman. And it was fun. A blues band. That's when I started getting into blues. So yeah. And then I started going to the jams around here, and it just, that's it. There we go. So
yeah, I've gone to the jam. I go to jams. I'm a jam type person to support the musicians and play. And I'm getting up there in age, so having the physical ability to do all that crazy stuff on stage and everything else isn't quite my cup of tea either. So I probably will just be washed out with the water and the tide. But I really respect your perseverance, because I don't know how many times I've wanted to give up. And the fact that you not only had a child to raise, you're going to college, but that you had this illness and you still managed to stick with that music and keep going. That's pretty admirable, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's role model stuff.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
When I read that, when I was reading your bio and I saw that, I thought, I don't think COVID had stopped this girl.
Well, there are limitations. Stairs are a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, stairs are a bad thing for me, and I don't have oxygen.
But I don't go out on road tours anymore. I stick pretty close to home, and that's enough for me, just to be singing and to, because if you're a musician, people who are musicians out there, they understand that music is in your soul. And if you can't express yourself, a part of you dies. And I just didn't, I had to have music in me, because to me, it's, therapy. It really is. It's what keeps me alive. And,
I believe that. Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely believe there's been quite a bit of research out there about all of the benefits of music, and it's amazing how warding off Alzheimer's, and that's probably
no, that's coming. That's coming.
So anyway, yeah. So when you're writing songs, what is your inspiration? I mean, you obviously have a lot of songs out there. I've heard some of them. I listen to a lot of your music, and how do you have a lot of musical theory background, or how do you write? Or what's the basis for your writing?
It's weird. People ask me that, and the thing is I don't have a specific formula. There's songs that, and I was just saying this last night to someone, that sometimes a song will come to you and it'll just pop out, and you can write it in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes, Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes you get a hook, something that catches your ear, or a melody, and you can sit there and mull it around in your mind, and and you write it in pieces. I have boxes of notebooks and little pieces of paper where I'll be sitting there and something will inspire me, and I write it down. Mm-hmm. And so I go through these little pieces of paper and these notebooks, and I'll put together, I'll find the words to what I want to say, because in the back of my mind, I'm always probably writing 4 or 5 different songs. And sometimes it's a little, confusing, but sometimes it's just amazing when the best songs to me are the ones that just are popped out, and they're gifts. They really are. They're true gifts. They really
I
are.
had a song like that. I had a song that I listened to this band backing from, and the drummer, the guitar backs, where you can go to YouTube and listen to the music that they play, but it's just music. And I was listening to it and I said, wow, I really like that beat. And the next thing I know, I was writing a song in 30 minutes. I had a song up. It just, let's see, it just came out. It's on my YouTube site called Move Over Girls. And the line on that is, move over girls, I got something to say. And it's kind of a cute little protest. It was my idea of, all the older women 40 and over who are really struggling to find their piece of ground and go with their talents. So
Yeah.
So during COVID, you were writing, or what were you doing during this last year and a half, 2 years?
Having a nervous breakdown.
Well,
I was. I just, to me, I think even today, and, a lot of people, I don't know, it's just a very volatile time for everybody. And it was very stressful. And I was just emotionally and physically shut down. And I didn't play anywhere because, you couldn't play in the lounges, you couldn't play in the venues, and everything was just shut down. And my thing was, in the back of my mind, I always thought, I'm going to get this, and this is going to be the worst way to die. I'm going to, die from COVID. And
I wonder how many people
I've been hyper protective of myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just coming out of that. I've, been playing, but I'm not overplaying. I'm not, playing like I was before, 3-4 times a week. I'm playing maybe once or twice a week, if every other week. And to me, my thing is, my focus is excuse me, my songwriting. And so I'm working on my next album right now. So, and just trying to come back from.
What kind of music is on that album?
Well, I just, I don't, I've won awards for blues, but I'm not just a blues singer.
Yeah, I noticed.
And I don't.
I noticed that in your music. I noticed that, but I wasn't really sure I could pin you down to any one genre. What would you say that is your genre?
I think I'm Americana. I don't know. I'm just, because I write, everybody, they'll hear one thing and they'll go, oh, you're country.
Yeah.
Oh, this one promoter, I sent him my last album and he's like, well, you don't know what you are, what are you? And I was like, everything. Can you be mishmash? Is that a new thing?
Yes,
I mean, the last album has everything on it. It has gospel, it has Latin flavor, it has pop, folk, blues, rock, country. Yeah, it has everything on it. And it's like, I don't write for genres. I just write the songs.
What's inside you. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard because, I mean, I don't know. It's because I'm not just a blues singer. I'm really not.
Right.
I like to think I'm more than that. So
you have a nice bluesy voice, though. I mean,
yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think country. I don't know what happened to me. I think.
Oh no, nothing's wrong with country.
Yeah. And everything I think is a combination of old country, and I'm trying to bring a new country, and I'm trying to bring it into some middle ground there. So it's more of I like faster music, so I kind of like country rock. I mean, that if I could write every song country rock, I probably would. But the truth be told, and I don't have a long range anymore. I used to, and I honestly believe that when they put that stuff down your throat when you have operations or whatever, that there's some injury to your vocal cords.
Yeah.
I no longer have the range I once had. But yeah, so I contacted two different men who were rockers, and I asked them questions about, how do you write a rock song? I mean, what's a rock song? So I'm going to ask you, when you're writing, have you written a rock song, and how would you explain it if you think it is?
A rock song. Well, yeah, okay.
Well, that's a big word. I mean, that covers a lot.
I know. Well, the thing is you may think you're one thing, and someone else think you're just totally something off, different.
Really?
It's like I thought I was writing a blues song, and nope, that's country, and it's like, okay, but then you listen to what's on the radio, and country is not old country anymore. It's very rare that you hear traditional country songs. They're more pop, and it's like crossover, and it's just there's such a merge between different genres now, and I find that with other artists, it's not, it's a blurring of lines, and it's, you bleed into this genre or you bleed into that genre. It's, it's not a fine line like it used to be.
Yeah. I use CD Baby to put my stuff, get it out to the streaming platforms. And you have to define your genre. And I was talking to my husband about that last night, and I said, it's really getting difficult. I have no idea. That, and then they say, well, who do you sound like? I like to think I sound like myself, but
I know. People ask me that, and in the past I've said, if Etta James and Dolly Parton had a baby,
oh God.
or Bette Midler, or whoever,
right.
I sound like a blend. Janis Joplin. Everybody says, "Oh, you."
I can hear it.
Yeah. It's a little of this, a little of that, a little of this, a little of that. Exactly. It's just.
So how do you put that down? I mean,
I know.
So, what star musician do you? And don't put it quite like that, but they, like what famous person do you sound like? Well, I know. How do I know?
Well, why don't you listen to it and tell me what you think? And they're like, "Oh,
exactly." You can't do that because you have to do it by computer. But so now you're writing this album. Can you tell me about the album and what kind of songs went into it? And because we were in such a dark time, is the music more upbeat, or how would you describe what it is that happened to you during that COVID that you were writing this music?
First of all, I like to think that my songwriting is progressing, and I'm growing as a songwriter, and I can see that from one album to the next to the next. I think my songwriting is maturing. I don't have, the formula of, the 1-4-5 for blues. There's no such thing as a formula for me. Someone says it has to be a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus, and it's like, that's not how you write a song. It's to me, it's just what the flow is, what emotion you're trying to feel when you're singing the song. And if you've come to one of my live shows, you've noticed that.
You're going to have to post on Mature Musicians so I know when you're playing so I can do that.
I think a lot of people, I'm very intimate when I'm performing my songs. And, I've had women come up to me even men come up to me and say, your music just touched me. It made me cry. It's like, oh, is that a good thing or is that a bad
Yes,
thing?
that's a good thing.
But a lot of the inspiration is just heartache and pain, and I mean, I write songs about everything. I write happy songs, but I wrote a song, a waltz, about a cowboy, and based on an article I read
Where
in
can
People
I find
magazine.
it?
Yeah, yeah. Um, heartache. That's the biggest motivator for songwriting. So yeah. I wrote a song for my son.
Oh,
I
that's
wrote a song for my mom. I wrote a song for my dad, because just moments with them inspired me. It's just a way to explain how your feelings are about something or this person. Or I wrote a song called Somebody, and it's on my latest album. And the inspiration behind that is just me and the piano. And it's just saying, there's somebody out there for me, and this is what I want. And I
there's
don't know
somebody
what love is,
there's
the
somebody
4-letter
out
word.
there. What? Somebody out there. What?
I'm sorry, somebody out there for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's somebody out there. And that's the whole thing about the song. Um, Somebody told me love is amazing, but love is just a 4-letter word. That's the first
Exactly.
first
Exactly.
phrasing of the song.
You see, we had a writer, somebody on here. I don't know if they're still on or not, but they didn't put their name. I don't know what the problem is
Uh-oh.
getting their name in there. But it says a little of this, a little of that is all you need, girl, as long as you're singing from the soul and connecting with your audience.
Yeah.
Sheer badassery. And I got a feeling it's probably Raymond Hayden. That's the way he talks.
Ah,
Jessica Linwood's husband, and he's got an album out, Grieve the Astronaut, and it's quite the thing. He's a piano player. I don't know if you've ever heard any of his stuff, but he's really good. He was my very first interviewee. Yeah, so I get all that. The problem I'm having is I don't, I'm hearing this for some of my listeners too. I mean, they may not say it directly, but I'm picking up on the response to things that I say. And it's, you have that background since you were 3. So you've got all this music running around in your brain. Mine is kind of vacant. And so I could do the words and I could get the song and I can get the melody. But boy, when it comes to trying to put a beat to it and fit everything in together to sound the way I want to. Somebody just said, "What a great interview." Thank you, listener.
yeah.
That is the hardest part. So when you're putting your songs together, what's the formula? Did you get the words, the melody, or the music, or do you have to work through that, or?
It's different. What I do, excuse me, when I write, when I play, when I'm on my piano just messing around, I record myself so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Because I may do something, and then if I don't record it, it may be something I really, really like and I forget it. But there to me is, like I said, no formula for writing a song. It can come to me in pieces. I may have a chorus and then I have to build the verse around the chorus, or I may have the verse and then I have to build the chorus. Um, I read a book and it's called How to Write One Song. And the thing is there is no way to write a song. I don't mean to sound flippant or anything,
No,
but
no,
everybody has their own style, and it just, I don't know. It's another thing is I have a recording of a song I wrote called "Gonna Be All Right." Everything you put me through, after everything you put me through, I'm gonna be all right.
I like
I
that.
have the original song, the work song. I have the original lyrics. I have the recording, but how I perform it is totally different than the recording.
Really?
And I never sing it the same.
Yeah, well, that's kind of
Yeah, I never sing it the same way ever again. I don't have that autopilot, I'm on
yeah,
autopilot, And the thing is I don't know, when I'm singing, I'm just putting all my energy out there. And I'll look and I'll see, and this is what really helps me is I'll see someone out there listening, and that's when I start singing to that person.
to that person. Yeah.
That person. That makes my
Absolutely.
whole night. If there's two people
Yeah.
listening, that makes my whole night.
Yeah.
I don't have to have the whole crowd. If there's two people out there that, are engaged, that's great.
Exactly. I think that it is really hard for me, and I don't think I'm alone, to sing to the audience and to sing to that one person. And I tend to get distracted, and then I'll skip a chord or a word, and it's like, oh crap. But that's a connection, and that is, yeah, I get it. That's a whole point. I had a lady come up to me one time and say, "Oh, thank you for this music. I really needed this."
Oh,
And
yeah.
that makes it all worthwhile, right? Doesn't have to
Yeah.
be 10,000, 100,000 people. Just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And then, when you get that one person, they're sending their energy back to you, and
yeah,
you just,
exactly. It's a give
yeah.
and take. You bet. It's a two-way
And you're
street.
just sucking it up, and
Yeah, I like that.
you multiply it and you send it out. And to me, it's great when you have the audience going, but if I can just make one person happy, that's all I care about,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it does sound doesn't sound like you get discouraged easily, but I struggle. I mean, I just started writing last August, and I struggle, and I wrote 10 songs. I put them out, and I had some, good producer that helped put it where I made a mistake or whatever, he makes suggestions. So, I struggle with it a lot, because it's new. It's not something I was schooled to do, but there's something inside me that wants to say what I have to say. Yeah. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know. And so I get it. And, like I say, I do struggle. And there are times when I get discouraged. I walked out of a jam last night, and I just felt like, what am I doing? What am I doing out there? And, eventually I came to my senses. But yeah, there's like people like you where the songs just flow, and then there's people like me. It's like, oh my God, where is this coming from? Do I get discouraged here, or do I just keep at it?
there are songs I've written. I don't know, so many songs I've forgotten a lot of them, and that's why I started recording them, because
Right.
keeping
Yes.
a notebook of lyrics. But the thing is, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh no.
That's right. It'll come back.
No, what was the last thing you said? Hold on. I'm having a
Lord, you're asking me what I said.
No, well, the thing is, I've written a lot of songs, but the thing is not every song is perfect.
Yeah.
And the thing is you may think it's a crappy song, excuse me, but someone else thinks it's fabulous.
Yeah.
But then also too, there are songs that I don't feel I want to share with the public, and I don't, and I'll come back and I'll revisit them every once in a while, or retool them, or sing them in a different, even just singing them in a different key gives them a different feel.
Yeah.
And it's like a song to me is never done. It's never finished.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
in this, oops, sorry, I interrupted.
No, go ahead.
In this COVID, I mean, I don't know about you. You told me, you just shared with me and our viewers that, you thought you were going to, oh God, COVID, I mean, gosh, it's an epidemic, I mean, we're all going to die. And I think I had some of those feelings too, because I'm vulnerable in many different ways to this whole thing. And And then I stayed home a lot. And first everything in my house was washed 2,500,000 times. Every time you brought something home, it was clean. And then eventually I got to the point where I was comfortable with, what we were doing. And, they got more information as time went along. But I don't really know if it affected my songwriting. Do you have any ideas about that period of time as far as whether or not there was any impact or any effect on the music that you were writing?
You get blocks, and I went through a block, and I'm coming out the other side now because I've been trying to work on my next album. I was so disappointed because I worked hard almost 3 years trying to get Lightning Strikes Twice done. And I go and I pick it up from.
Is that a song or an album?
That's both. Lightning Strikes Twice. Yeah. It was inspired by reconnecting with my 6th grade boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Probably dead, girl.
But I went and picked it up from, where I had it, what do you call, copied my CDs, went, picked them up, and I had them in hand, and America shut down the next day. And I had this album I could not do anything with. So, I sent it out to whomever and whatever I could. I did a serious promotion digitally, and a lot of people, they wanted hard copies, and mailed it out, and I spent a lot of money trying to promote an album that to me it just died on the vine, and it has some of the best songs that I've written.
Wow.
Yeah, Lightning Strikes Twice. Tell Me That You're Mine. I the guys in my band call it the Bob album. Bob inspired 11 songs during that period, that recovery period, a broken heart period. And not all the songs are Bob songs, but yeah. And, it's just, it was to me an emotional, process that I went through. And I found that I benefited from that lockdown in the fact that
the time you had nothing else to do, right?
Yeah. And, people in Scotland know who I am, in Australia, Canada. It's like, Italy, yeah. And it's like, I did an interview with the guy from Scotland. I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Yeah.
But, he was really, really nice. And this one lady from Germany, she was like, when are you coming over on tour? And I was like, oh, yeah, right.
You're paying for it.
No, I can't do that, But, to me, that was my effort of trying to, not give up on the album. So, yeah.
So when do you think these, this is the kind of segue into the last part of this interview is what you have coming in the future, and is any part of this album going to be put out there where we can hear it, like on YouTube, which seems to be the go-to place for most of us?
Well, yeah. I'm gonna hibernate during the winter because I just don't want to be stuck inside with everybody.
Yeah,
and I've been lucky to do that for the last 2-3 years, and I've been lucky because I haven't gotten pneumonia again. And to me, if I catch a common cold, it's not a week or 2 weeks of being sick. It's 6 to 10 weeks of being sick, and it's like, I can't do that to my body anymore. And so that's going to give me the opportunity to really woodshed and go through and really put an effort into finishing the songs that I've started for my next album. So I hope to have it ready to record by spring. So
okay. Do keep us posted.
I will.
Lightning Strikes Twice just rings a bell with me.
Yeah. What is it? Oh, hold on. They say love is wait a minute. Some say love is a once in a lifetime. Um, I hope they are. I hope they're wrong. Maybe I'm right because lightning strikes twice. Yeah,
Oh, I love that.
yeah,
Yes. In my
yeah,
case, there was a few more times than that, but I finally found it, and it's taken a long time. It's
yeah.
going on the 23rd year, I believe.
Oh,
And I never thought I'd ever do it again. I'd had enough. Yeah. And oh, sure enough, one day I was in singing karaoke. I had a friend who had a karaoke by Fort Lewis, and oh, geez, he came walking in, and you know, he's encouraging me to sing in fairs and whatever. And I said, "Nah, I'm not interested in any of that. I just want to sing in a band." And next thing I know, I turned around and I was saying, "I do." I'm like, "What?" But yes, it does. It does strike some people. I think the key is the right person at the right time with the right. You have to have the right attitude. Is like I
yeah.
live with it or without it. And when I was least looking, or not looking, but I was least expecting it, boom, it hit me. So
I don't
I'm
have to
gonna
be
be
in love. I don't have to have someone in my life. I've realized that.
right.
Yeah, I've realized that because I find that fulfillment in other ways, through my
Right.
family,
Mhm.
through my music, through my
Yes.
friends.
Yes.
And the thing is quite honestly, I have a lot of baggage and it would take a very special
Everybody
person
does.
to have to put up with that, and I'm so weird and just, I am. I
Well,
got a
girl,
great sense of humor, but I'm just really weird.
well, that comes with age, I think. I don't know. I think the longer you're on this earth, the more you pick up and the more you got to drop along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear that song. I think it's a song I'm going to like.
Yeah.
So, in you looking back over the years in your music, and oh my God, these are phenomenal challenges that you've met and managed to overcome. Uh, what about your musical career and your decision to be an artist stands out the most? That there's something that was a combination of a lot of little things, or one big thing. Have you ever regretted doing what you're doing? And do you think your life would have been a lot different if you would have just stayed the housewife and never continued?
No, I would not have been a housewife. No. No, I no. Mm-mm. No, because you know what? My independence was built when I started playing in piano bars at 15.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my mom, maybe she thought I was the goose that laid the golden egg. But the thing is to me, it made me find validation
Yeah.
for myself through my music. And the thing is, I don't know, I could have taken another road, but my mindset was always music. And it sometimes it took a back seat to being a mother, going to college, being sick.
Yeah, it was two full-time jobs right there,
Yeah,
maybe three.
yeah. But music has always been my world of my sanctum, my sanctuary. And that's who I can be, who I am, and I don't have to be what other people. I mean, the thing is I don't know. As I used to do that Las Vegas lounge lizard, Reba McEntire hair, Tammy Baker pound of makeup and glitter and all that stuff. And it's like, no, I don't have time for that anymore. It's just
Mhm.
I'm putting my music out there, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's I'm not going to worry about it. I that's terrible, but it really, really means a lot to me when people say they like my music because it
Yes,
means that I've touched them.
that's
I've
right.
touched their soul or their heart some
Absolutely.
way, you
Oh,
know.
that's wonderful. So you've not
Love it.
you've not regretted the fact that you took this difficult road, and believe me, I think it is to be a
Yeah,
musician,
yeah,
is to be a songwriter, a difficult road. And then you also took the difficult road of getting yourself educated through all this, overcoming an illness and raising a child. You're a strong woman, Sheri, and I'm really glad I got to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Inspiration.
I'm glad I got to meet you. And it's nice to know I'm a matured musician.
Well, you just said it a little while ago. You said I think my music is maturing. And
Yeah.
that was the concept when I was thinking about this. That was the concept. And I was going to put veteran musician, but that could have been misconstrued. And, I thought of all these different ways of saying this. And finally I said, music matures as people go along practicing their music and writing songs and whatever. And it never stays the same. You always have to keep growing. A lot of people who've been on here have said that. And I agree with that. And that journey for people as devoted as you are and the other artists I've had on here means growth. And growth is what keeps us going. And it keeps us alive. It keeps our music vital and helps us to relate to other people. So, yes. Yeah, that's how the matured musician came. Really, age just happened to come along with the with the whole package.
I like the songs. I wrote some great songs back earlier, but I'm writing good songs now. But I just see a different style of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. And there's somebody here that says Sheri has more heart than Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, or Billie. How do you say her name? Eilish. Say, girl, that's a high compliment there.
Thank you.
Thank you, listener. It's not. I can't tell who you are because this thing, unless you tell me your name, I can't see the name. I can only see what you write. But thank you for that. And yes, she does. And I can't wait to continue watching as she grows. And hopefully, Sheri, you will come back with us again at some later point, maybe when your album's out or whatever. So,
sure. I'd love to.
All right. I
would love to. Thank you.
I do want to thank you for coming out here. Coming onto my StreamYard here and sharing your life with us, or these parts of your life and your musical career. And I will have you back in the future. So
thank you. Come see me sometime.
I will, but you got to post it so I know where you are.
I do. I have a Sheri Roberts Greimes live.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's right. I saw it. I did see it.
Yeah.
I did see it posted on your, was that a website or?
Well, I have a website too, but a Facebook page and a Reverb Nation page. And
can you put any of that on the site for us so that my readers who forget like me can go back and
find me? Yeah. You can Google me and find me. It's just, I think the issue is people misspell my name.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, Sheri. Thank you, all you listeners, for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure, Sheri, and you take care.
Thank you.
We'll see you again down the road.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.